Hey everybody, I thought I would make another entry into getting ready for our development of online professional development. I sent out an email last week to sort of introduce you to Hyperdocs. I know a lot of you have been doing some work in Hyperdocs. Shelley, um, especially, has done a lot of work in Hyperdocs. And so I sent that out to you. I hope you had time to sort of explore a lot of that, but the idea behind it is that the entire lesson, or in our case, the entire professional development, whether it's like a one session or an entire session, many of you know that typically we don't do one shot things, we do like a series. So it might be a series of 3 days or a series of 5 days or a year long. But the idea around Hyperdocs is that everything for that professional development series would be in like a one pager. And so, of course, you make lots of other documents, but you link them all into just that one page at a glance so that people don't have to go hunting around for things. So, a lot of our current PD, I have all the PD that we've done since I became I came, well, I came into the site as a TC in 1997, but then around 2005 or six, I was the in-service coordinator, which meant I planned and coordinated the site's professional development out in schools. And then around 2013 or so, I became the director, but everything that we have done PD wise, since I came on as the in-service coordinator, we have it. But as most of you know, a lot of it's like hard copies. Like I have files with like everything we've done for vocabulary development or everything we've done for narrative writing. I have all of the videos we've made. Many of you made classroom videos of you teaching because at one point, and this was very early on, maybe around 2010 or 2011, I came up with the idea of, hey, we need classroom video to go with all of our professional development series. So if we were teaching students, in a workshop, teachers in a workshop, how to teach narrative writing to their students, many of you would teach narrative writing to your students and you would film yourself doing that. And then we'd plug that into our professional development series. And then I also came up with that idea of doing movie nights. And many of you remember those. We did several of those. And I have all of those movies that you made. We have them on flash drives. But again, a lot of the things that we have, while I have kept it all, it's hard copies or flash drives, and it's all at my fingertips to pull from. But we need to spend some time putting things into a one pager, a hyperdoc. And so we're going to do a couple things. So I've gotten questions from some of you. Are you talking about we're going to put existing resources into hyperdocs, or are we making new resources? And the answer to that is yes. So we're doing some of both. So why now? Well, here's why now. Most of you know, you don't all know this, but most of you know that we don't get any money to run the writing project. Nobody gives us money to pay my salary or to pay for the Summer Institute. We make that money by selling professional development to school districts. Now, for the last 8 years, we've had some grants from the National Writing Project, from the U.S. Department of Education through the National Writing Project. We've been fortunate to have those grants to fund things like C3WP. And if we have C3WP teachers in a Summer Institute, then we can use some of that grant money to help pay for the Summer Institute. But really, we have to be self-funding and self-supporting. And many sites went under. And a lot of you know this because they didn't know how to develop and sell professional development. And so when we lost state and federal funding back in 2010, maybe, the number of writing project sites really was drastically reduced. In Mississippi, we had 8, and I think we're now down to 3 or 4. And it's touch and go for all of us. So I'm going to, so why now? Because now we have this year where we have some I3 funding, some grant funding from the National Writing Project, and our grant school has said, can you hold back a little bit, because teachers are overwhelmed. These are teachers who don't, I'll just say it, these are teachers who don't have a strong practice anyway, so they don't have those reserves of strength to pull from that really good, strong teachers have at this time. And so they can't, the C3WP is so far from their current practice that we really, and I told the superintendent this, when C3WP is as far from as an existing practice as it is for your teachers, that classroom coaching piece where we go in and do a lot of modeling and we're there physically side by side with that teacher in the classroom, that is key. The further away your practice is from writing project practice, the more support you need. And all of these teachers are very far from writing project practice. So I said all that to say, we have this money, we can't spend a lot of the money sending you into, or me, into the schools to work with the teachers. A lot of teachers even opted out, but 4 stayed in. So you'll be doing like Zoom PD, and I'll talk with those of you who are doing that. So how can we invest this money that we have to build site capacity, to grow our offerings? We give them to, the only way we can use this grant money that is for Covington County, and we have some left over that was for Marion County. The only way we can use this for this project is if we develop things for them that we will give to them as gifts. You will be paid for developing things from the grant, and then the site has these things to sell to other districts as contracted PD. So I want to, so the thinking is we're going to develop a lot of online PD. We give it as a gift to Marion and Covington, and then we have it to sell to other districts. The Hyperdoc thinking, we're not going to give anybody a Hyperdoc, okay? That's not what we're doing. But we're putting everything in a Hyperdoc so that going forward, everything for that PD, whether we do it online via Zoom or whether we actually go somewhere and do the PD, everything's in that Hyperdoc, links to all the handouts. So you don't have 5 or 6 different Google folders that you have to look through, and here's a PowerPoint over here, and here's a video over here, and here's a handout over here. It's all there in one Google Doc, one Hyperdoc. So I will say, just in case you didn't, I said a lot of words to say the Hyperdoc is for us. It's for our records, okay? So we'll have like a folder full of Hyperdocs for, we might have one for our literary analysis series. We'll have one for our vocabulary development series. We'll have one for our narrative writing series. We'll have a bunch of them for different C3WP things. But whatever types of series we normally sell, we'll put all those in Hyperdocs. We may decide we're going to sell something on teacher as writer. So we would put all of our mentor texts, all the processes, it would all be in a Hyperdoc. All the text we would use with students, and I guess y'all are seeing this. This is just part of my injury. I still can't walk, but maybe soon. All of that would be in a Hyperdoc, and we pull straight from that for the teachers. Here's another thing that we can do for the Hyperdoc. I really think it's a good marketing move for us to sell Canvas courses. So to sell Canvas PD. And those of you who are working in the World Class Teacher Program, you know we have all these things that teachers do in Canvas on their own time, asynchronously. And then we have Zoom meetings. They need to do all those things. And then we have face-to-face Zoom meetings interspersed throughout. So I think that that is a really good thing that we could do for to sell PD. I even think we could sell Canvas courses to school districts who wanted their teachers to do the courses during their PLC time. Maybe the curriculum coordinator could go in and facilitate, you know, like show different things in our Canvas course to them. But I think there's a place in the market for selling PD via Canvas, whether it's all Canvas or Canvas plus our Zooms, Canvas plus our classroom coaching. All of that's future though, and that's for me to think about and to market. For you, you are going to develop a bunch of Hyperdocs, and you're going to, some of you are going to help me turn the Hyperdoc into Canvas modules, because you can see that once you do a Hyperdoc, let's say you have, you know, think about the C3WP course we made. So the first thing teachers did in that course, that Canvas course, was they saw all of us in a Flipgrid giving our testimonials about how C3WP had helped our students. So let's just say that we're doing, putting together one on literary analysis. So the first thing they might see is a video of us. Our faces need to be all through this. So they would maybe see a Flipgrid of us giving testimonials about how our students learned theme, how the sentence frames helped our students write commentary, how Say Me Matter helped our students write global statements to start and end their literary analysis. And then the next thing might be some professional readings on literary analysis, or probably it would be writing into a session with a way to collaboratively share, which would be a Jamboard or a Padlet, or even a Flipgrid. You know, we could put a Flipgrid in there and let teachers video their sharing, like they're reading aloud what they wrote. And then the next thing might be we're walking them through a demonstration lesson, which would be like a narrated PowerPoint. And then the next thing might be that they go and implement and post photos or copies of photos of anchor charts, or photos of their students working in the classroom, and always, always, always post some student work samples that we then teach them to analyze. We teach them how to highlight the claim in one color, and the text evidence in another, and the commentary in another. So here's the way you think about this. Anything that we would normally do in face-to-face PD, we do those same things. Anytime we would be talking in face-to-face PD, they see us talking on a video like I'm doing now. Anytime they would be reading something, they read it, and we would always have collaborative sharing. So there would be some space, whether through commenting on a Google Doc or something, there'd always be a space for them to share collaboratively, whether synchronously or asynchronously. So I've done a lot of rambling, but I wanted to say again what I hope I said in that first email, but I might not have said. So a quick review of what I've said so far before I say some other things is, why now? Because we have the money now to pay you. We have money to pay you to develop things that we can then use next year and the next and the next to keep the site afloat. Our grant money all runs out next year. So this is a way to use grant money to help Covington County. They'll have it all for free, anything we develop for free. To help Marion County, they'll have what we develop for free. And that's how we can use our money is to officially be developing it for them. But as we know, we can also have it later to market. I'm hoping to even market some of it in January. So now I'm going to share my screen, and just to recalibrate us to who we are and what we do. A lot of you probably are really familiar with, you got to know your why. It's so important to know your why. And people who know their why are more effective than people who don't know their why. Well, when I first heard that, I know some school districts read the book, and everything, that was the new keyword. I'm like, what? Are you really telling me there are people who don't know why they do what they do? That's ridiculous. Then why are they doing anything if they don't know why they're doing it? But I found out really quickly that there are a lot of teachers who don't know why they do what they do. They don't know the purpose of public education. And so I realized that while I was giving people the benefit of the doubt, assuming they knew their why, and thinking these administrators were being really condescending to imply that teachers don't know their why, through working with, national board candidates, I can tell you people don't know their why. And so I know you know it, but I thought doing they call this the golden circle, and you start with your why, and then you come out to your, well, what is it that we do? So what does our organization do? You always start with why. Then you come to the outer and do the what, and then you really think, well, how is it that we do this? So I played around with doing one for, writing project site. So writing project site, what is our why? Well, it's to improve student learning. That's what our why is. Just as a national board teacher, she has to link every single thing to a beneficial impact on student learning. Okay, she has to prove that every single thing she does, all of these whats, are to impact student learning. So with us, it's the same thing. We improve student learning, and for a writing project site, that is specifically in literacy. I mean, we don't say that we improve students' math abilities, right? Because we don't. We focus on literacy. And that can include writing, reading, speaking, listening, language, thinking. In fact, we don't separate these. Everything we do links all of this together. So all writing projects exist for the purpose. Our purpose, or our why, is to improve student learning. Well, the what we do is professional learning. We work mostly, even though we do work with directly with students, it's all part of our professional development. We're focusing on a teacher's professional learning. And so the way that all writing projects do that are through the Summer Institute, continuity. Those are the meetings that once you've gone through a Summer Institute, then you get invited to do lots and lots of continuity projects. And then we do contracted PD. We sell stuff, okay? We sell. We're a business. Every writing project site has to have a business model. You always have to bring in money to fund Summer Institute and continuity. And continuity and Summer Institute always have to be feeding into this contracted PD. They're all linked. So let me go ahead and I'll go to the next frame. I've really fallen in love with Jamboards. And here's why. You know how in PD we draw on charts to demonstrate what we're saying. Well, a Jamboard is like chart paper for me. I love it. And then I can always pull it back up. So this is our model. All writing project sites have the same model. Professional learning is right here in this middle sweet spot. And so here's the model. We sell PD. We go out into districts, or sometimes we have workshops on campus. But either way, people are paying. We're making money to facilitate professional learning. And what we do there is we keep our eyes open all the time for what we call positive deviance. So there will be teachers that we meet in professional development, and we say, okay, we want that one in our group. That one seems to get it. We don't ever think, well, she's there, she's completely there, he's completely there. Nobody's ever completely there. But we see something in them, and what that something is excellent practitioner, not griping and complaining about things, not making excuses. They're really focused, a focused learner in professional development, and they're an excellent classroom implementer, okay? And so we say, you know, that person has the dispositions, not necessarily the skills and knowledge yet to be a really good professional development provider, but they have the dispositions, so they have some promise. And so we invite them to come to the Invitational Summer Institute. This is invitation only. Principals contact me a lot and they say, I want to send somebody to your summer institute. That's not how it works. Not how it works. Now, we do sometimes ask TCs, is there somebody at your school that you think has the dispositions to be part of our community? And sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes TCs are thinking about themselves instead of the organization, which is a no-no. And they might think, oh, you know, I've got this coworker and I would love it if she was a writing project teacher too, because then I would have some more, I'd have somebody, and I'd have company. I'd have a good, you know, colleague. I really like her and I wish she was writing project. Or sometimes principals will try to send us somebody that they want us to turn into some sort of expert to do PD at their school. We don't do that. We look for the good people to bring into our summer institute to work for us. That's the model. We're looking for a workforce. So the workforce, potential workforce, because this doesn't always turn out. Sometimes people get into the ISI who really shouldn't be there. And we figure that out really quickly. But this is our potential workforce. And so we really immerse people in the Summer Institute in lots of writing. Teachers write in Summer Institute. Teachers learn, so lots of reading, and teachers lead. So we have them either do like a demonstration lesson or do a facilitate a structured protocol discussion about a professional book chapter or article. And then those that really pass that test, they get invited to further continuity. And the continuity is always, it might be an advanced institute to learn about something so that you can then go out and do contracted PD, which you would help develop. Nobody pulls these down off a shelf. These come from our professional knowledge. We make stuff. We make the things that we sell. So let me go back to this. This was just more about our model, which is the what we do. So what we do is Summer Institute, continuity, and contracted PD. Why we do it is to improve student learning. Now I know this looks like we're trying to improve teacher learning. Well, yeah, but that's as a vehicle for impacting students. We want to make students more literate in our world. That's what we want. And so we do it through building teacher capacity, instructional capacity. Now it's these hows that are really relevant to this project we're about to embark upon. Because what do you put into a Hyperdoc? that will eventually go into a Canvas course and or a professional development series? Well, in order to figure that out, this is the, how do we do the things we do? Hows, these are our hows. So how we do this improving student learning through teacher professional development is we engage teachers as writers. So we have teachers do a lot of writing. If we're teaching students how to teach argument writing, we have them write arguments. If we're teaching them how to do how to teach students to write a lit analysis, we have them write a lit analysis. If we're having them teach students how to write how to use a mentor text to write under the influence of it, we have them do it. If we're teaching them how to teach their students how to do narrative writing, they write narratives, okay? So when you're developing your Google Doc, your Hyperdoc that eventually goes into either a Canvas model or a PD series, that teachers need to be doing a lot of writing. And we also write in community. They share their writing. So not only will they write something that you will first model, so you're writing, like on a video, you're typing on a screen and doing a think aloud in front of them. You're also then having them do it, and then they're sharing. So how is that going to be done? Well, for the purpose of the Hyperdoc, there's an electronic space where they do it. And then we do lots of classroom demonstration lessons. So you might be demonstrating a lesson. Now, what do we do there? Well, you might teach it via a video, or you might video yourself actually teaching in your classroom. Because a lot of times, some teachers can watch you teach it to them and they are there. They can go straight back to that classroom and teach it to students. Other teachers can't. They need that scaffolded step of seeing how you actually do it in a classroom. And there are a lot of things we do in classrooms we don't even think about. It just comes naturally to us. Doesn't come naturally to some of the teachers in our professional development. So they need to see that done. So classroom demonstrations where you're actually teaching students really are a cut above. They bump up the quality of professional development. We also have them do a lot of professional reading with structured protocols for discussion. It might be a collaborative document. It might be a block party. Think of all the ways we do that. It might be a list group label. There's tons of things we've done through the years for that. And then formative assessment of student writing. They always need to go out, implement, and bring student writing back. And when I say bring it back, it may be post it in the Canvas, post it, a link to it in a Google Doc. And then we would show them how to assess it. Usually, we do lots of color coding. We show them how to look at the state rubric and assess it with the state rubric. So all of these things are really important. So what we're trying to do is improve student learning, and we're doing it through PD in this case, and a Hyperdoc. But how is it that we do that? We really need to think about that so that all of that is captured in our Hyperdoc. This summer, we started some Canvas modules. I'll see if I can find some of those. And some of them are, better than others because some people, and I'll just say it, just pasted in a bunch of text. That's not professional learning. That's just like independent study or something. That's not our how. We don't do things like that. So I'll find it was in our Summer Institute course. And so I'll share the screen and pull that up. So we began developing some, and I told you this is just a, you know, those of you who did it, that it was the beginning. And remember I said, we will revisit this in the fall. So we have some drafts here. And those of you who started some of these, this is a good start to your Hyperdoc. So I forget who, it might have been Dylan. I don't want to say for sure, but a module on grammar. And so some chapters from Mechanically Inclined with some structured discussion protocols, so a chapter from Teaching Grammar Improved, from Bad Ideas About Writing. So here's a good start to a Hyperdoc, and an eventual really fleshed out Canvas module on grammar instruction. And then here's one on essay structure. And what we really want to get them to do is, you know, away from the 5-paragraph, more toward kernel essays. And then somebody, I think this was Ashley, maybe did one on mentor text. So we have some started already. It's just time to flesh those out and to be extra sure that our house, like the ways that we operate, are thoroughly embedded there. And I didn't know as much about Hyperdocs then when we did Summer Institute as I know now, even though that was the model we used for our website, our Share Your Writing website. And I sent you some of those examples. That was Hyperdoc. And so we're just going to start Hyperdoc outlines and put together a Hyperdoc with everything in one place for some PD. Now you may still be thinking, I don't know, what is she going to ask me to do? Like what's the specific of what she's going to ask me to do? We're not there yet. Okay. I'm just trying to say a little more about what I wrote in the email. And when we meet, I hope we can meet next Thursday night, and I'm going to put all this in the email where I send this video. But when we meet, we'll talk more about who's going to work together. Some of you may want to work alone. Some of you may want to work in teams. People have different preferences for that. I like to work alone. And then I like to have a team to give me like really hard pushback, good feedback. And everybody's going to have that, whether you work in a team or alone. We're going to have a structured protocol for how we review and give each other feedback on these things. And I'm hoping that none of this will be stress-filled or pressure-filled. We're going to take our time because right now we have some time. So that's all I'm going to say in the recording. But I wanted to give you a little bit more rationale, a little bit more detail. And I really wanted to look, I mean, we know our why and we know our what, but I really wanted to, and you know the how, but I really wanted to focus on that again so that you could understand that our how is going to be in these online things just as they're in the physical face-to-face things. That's what separates us from other people is our hows. So, and we're proud of that. We don't apologize for it. And we're certainly not going to ignore it when we develop online things. It's going to be there. So I'll put this video in an email with some more information about when we might meet.